Good day, I am Janine Cayabier from BS to Block 1. Our discussion for today is all about Mendelian and non-Mendelian inheritance. Mendelian inheritance refers to an inheritance pattern that follows the laws of segregation and independent assortment in which a gene inherited from either parent segregates into gametes at an equal frequency. Examples: sickle cell anemia, Tay-Sachs disease, cystic fibrosis, xeroderma pigmentosa. The three major patterns of Mendelian inheritance for disease traits are described: autosomal dominant, autosomal recessive, and X-linked. Mendelian inheritance patterns refer to observable traits, not to genes. Some alleles at a specific locus may encode a trait that segregates in a dominant manner, whereas another allele may encode the same or a similar trait, but instead it segregates in a recessive manner. A Mendelian trait is one that is controlled by a single locus in the inheritance pattern. In such cases, mutations in a single gene can cause disease that inherited according to Mendel's principles. The key principles of Mendelian inheritance are some of Mendel's three laws: the law of independent assortment, law of dominance, and law of segregation. The non-Mendelian inheritance. Non-Mendelian inheritance is any pattern of inheritance in which traits do not segregate in accordance with Mendel's laws. These laws describe in the inheritance of traits linked to single genes and chromosomes in the nucleus. The inheritance of characteristics is not always as simple as it is. For the characteristics that Mendel studied in pea plants, each characteristic Mendel investigated was controlled by one gene that had two possible alleles, one of which was completely dominant to the other. This resulted in just two possible phenotypes for each characteristic. Each characteristic Mendel studied was also controlled by a gene on a different non-homologous chromosome. As a result, each characteristic was inherited independently of the other characteristics. Geneticists now know that inheritance is often more complex than this. A characteristic may be controlled by one gene to two alleles, but the two alleles may have a different relationship than the simple dominant-recessive relationship that you have read about so far. For example, the two alleles may have a codominant or incompletely dominant relationship. The former is illustrated by the flower in this figure. Codominance occurs when both alleles are expressed equally in the phenotype of heterozygote. The red and white flower in the figure has codominant alleles for red petals and white petals.